Hello friends, Master Sommelier Peter Neptune here. Another episode of my YouTube channel. Thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, thanks for your suggestions. And a popular theme is Trader Joe's. Everybody's looking, what can I get at Trader Joe's that's decent? And I am doing the work for you. And so what I'm looking for, and the theme here is French wines under $9.99 and under. So if I can find a decent French wine for $9.99 or under at Trader Joe's, I'd probably buy a case of it because that's frankly pretty inexpensive. And if I can find a decent wine, hey, let's go for it. What I'm looking for is typicity. You know, if the wine says Vourvray on the label, does it taste like a Vourvray? Is it good? If the wine says Medoc on the label, does it taste like a Medoc for $9.99 or whatever that may be? Is it good? And then I found a new one here because I go to Trader Joe's every week looking for cool stuff. This is Trader Joe's Reserve. Trader Joe's equivalent of Kirkland, Costco Kirkland Signature. Trader Joe's Reserve Rasteau. I really like Rasteau. You know, this is a really good appellation in the Southern Rhone for Grenache Syrah Mourvedre blend. So I'm kind of, I'm shaky with anticipation. All right, let's look at what we got. Starting off, Van Noble Lachateau Vourvray. I don't know much about the producer. I looked them up. They're a co-op, I believe, of growers. I believe that they made the Touraine Sauvignon Blanc that I tasted on a previous episode. So these guys are, you know, somewhere in the Touraine district, and this is their Vourvray. Now, Vourvray is an appellation that's important to be aware of. It's a Chenin Blanc appellation. The village is called Vourvray, and the surrounding vineyards are then allowed to be called Vourvray AOC or AOP. And the wines have to be 100% Chenin Blanc, but it can be Chenin Blanc in almost any style. There's Vourvray. Now, this bottle really doesn't give me a lot of clues. It says Vourvray. It could be a sec. It could be a demi-sec. So sec means dry. Demi-sec means semi-dry or off-dry. Doux means sweet. Mouleur means mouth-filling. There's a nebulous category. And there's also sparkling Vourvray, which could be dry or off-dry. So that'll be interesting to explore because, you know, as a consumer, I would imagine you kind of look at it and you go, well, what am I getting here? A dry wine and off-dry wine? We can find a place for both, food-wise. But that'll be fun to explore. So here we go. This is a pale lemon green. Boy, if you want to know, students, what lemon green looks like, here it is right here. This is definitely a lemon. There's green in this wine. On the nose, medium intensity, youthful. And right off the bat, we get what we expect, which is golden delicious apple, a hint of quince, a hint of pear, and then a very specific characteristic for Chenin Blanc, particularly Vourvray for me, and that's chamomile. And once you can kind of memorize chamomile tea, if you do that, you go chamomile, I get it. And you should be able to pick out Chenin Blanc almost every time. It's a big, big clue for me. So there's this floral blossom chamomile character here, and you know, just a hint perhaps of dried honey. So let's go on to the palate. I'm going to call that off dry. Acidity is high. Very crisp, very driving acidity. Beautiful counterbalance to the off dry sugar character. Probably 12 grams residual sugar or RS. Remember, on the palate, acid lowers the impression of sugar, sugar lowers the impression of acid. So the acid balances the sugar, and the sugar balances the acid. And it's quite appealing. I like it a lot. This is quite lovely. So on the palate, off dry, acidity high, alcohol's medium, body is medium intensity. I'm gonna go medium plus because of the acidity. Finish is medium plus. Yeah, solid medium plus. Light, nice chalky minerality there underneath the finish. Wow, yeah, quince, apple, pear, elderflower, a little bit of chamomile, a hint of blossom, that kind of chalky minerality. This is good. This is good. Now, what do you eat with a thing like this? It's off dry. So right away, we're going Vietnamese food, Thai food, Indian food, anything with a hint of spice to it, anything that's got a little bit of a sweet sauce to it, like the sushi rolls that have all that eel sauce and all that sweet mayo. Those really don't go very well with dry wine. So if you're really having an eel roll party, man, this would be a really lovely wine, you know. So anything with a little hint of spice to it, you are home free. You are, in fact, really a little bit of a mild blue cheese. This is really versatile wine, actually. Good, recommended for sure. At prices $9.99 for a good bottle of Vourvray. Impressive. Next up, I've got, let's see here, 2021 Chateau La Pirouette, Medoc Cru Bourgeois, $7.99. This is 50% Cabernet Sauvignon, 40% Merlot, 8% Petit Verdot, 2% Malbec. Created in 1932, the appellation of Cru Bourgeois. And then since 2010, the classification is revised every 5 years. What is Cru Bourgeois? There are hundreds and hundreds of chateaux in Bordeaux. Only a couple dozen of them were classified in 1855 in the Medoc classification of the Haut-Medoc and Sauternes, or the Medoc and Sauternes. On the right bank in Saint-Emilion in 1955, there was a classification. In 1932, they created a classification that currently has about 250 chateaus that form the Alliance of the Cru Bourgeois, who account for about 31% of the production of the Medoc. These are chateaus who have to submit their wines for a government-approved tasting panel to taste the wines, approve them. In many cases, they do an inspection of the vineyards, look at the cellar records, all that kind of stuff, and get nominated and then voted in to become a member of the Cru Bourgeois. So is it an indication of quality? Sure. I would say that it is. I mean, when I see that on a bottle, it's like, okay, these guys have passed a certain kind of a quality test. What do we get for $7.99? Wow. We get a medium ruby color on the nose. Still relatively youthful, maybe showing just a hint of developing here. But on the nose, very typical Cabernet Sauvignon and Merlot aromas. We get a little bit of black currant, a little bit of blackberry of the Cabernet Sauvignon. Of Merlot, we get the plum, the blue plum, the red plum. There's a overtone here of that beautiful graphite lead pencil that I would expect from the left bank. There's a hint of smoke, a hint of tar. This wine probably saw 20% new oak, which is not a lot, but just enough to give you that little toast, that little smoke, a little bit of cedar. Overall, a very pleasant nose, medium plus in intensity, and very Bordeaux-like, very Medoc-like. Let's check out the palate. Dry, acid medium plus, tannin medium plus, alcohol medium, body medium, intensity medium, and very, very juicy on the palate. Not a lot of fruit. So those of you who appreciate fruit bomb wines, I would probably warn you about this wine. What this wine reminds me of, and the kind of category in the $9.99-ish, and this is less than that, is that this is really a wine for drinking with food. It's going to accentuate a lamb dish. It's going to accentuate a steak frite dish. It's going to accentuate a simple pork chop. This wine doesn't draw attention to itself. What I like about Bordeaux in general, but this category, is there's a seamlessness to it. It doesn't explode. It doesn't go wow. It's just kind of like, wow, this is very pleasant, very food-friendly wine. It's got good acidity. The tannins are well integrated, and the fruit isn't the deal. It's not about the fruit. It's more about the non-fruit, the shaved lead pencil, the hint of cedar, the hint of sawdust on the floor. You know, what did I say about tannin? I might go tannin medium plus, but well integrated, definitely right. Good for $7.99. If you're a Bordeaux fan, this would be a good go-to Bordeaux for Monday through Thursday night. I'd like to try it with a simple steak à poivre or a steak frite dish, or man, just some steak tartare. This would be just beautiful with steak tartare. So I'm going to call it good with reservations. If you're into California Zinfandel, you're probably not going to like this wine. Okay, fair enough? There we go. Next up, 2022 Trader Joe's Reserve Rasteau, $9.99. Rasteau has to be at least 50% Grenache, and then the next proportion of Mourvèdre and Syrah must be greater or equal to 20% of the rest of the total, meaning that it's a Grenache-based blend with Mourvèdre and Syrah and probably a little bit of Sancerre. So it's a GSM blend. Now, Rasteau, for a long time, was a cru of the Southern Rhone in the VDN category. It produced a sweet wine, a fortified sweet wine called Vin Doux Naturel. And then, probably 10 years ago or so, it was promoted to cru in its own cru status, like Châteauneuf de Pape or like Gigondas or Vaqueiras or any of the other crus of the Rhone. So the village now has two appellations, one for VDN fortified wine, which is sweet, and one for a dry wine based on Grenache, Syrah, and Mourvèdre. And they deserve it. It deserved the promotion. Rasteau is a fantastic terroir and is really a good go-to area for high-quality GSM blends. So on the appearance, it's a medium ruby color through and through. And on the nose, it is medium plus in intensity and rather youthful. And boy, complete polar opposite of the Bordeaux. It's quite jammy. It's got a lot of dried fruit, stewed fruit, my bad. It's jammy, stewed fruit. It's got blackberry, blueberry. It's got huckleberry, strawberry jam. There's an herbal character here. The wines of the Southern Rhone, as I have explored, have that garrigue character about them, driven by the plant oil that's pulled by the Mistral wind and deposited on the grapes. So there's lavender, there's sage here, there's a hint of thyme, hint of tarragon, and overall a hint of ripe fruit, developed, I don't think raisinated fruit, but certainly extra ripe on the palate. Dry, acid, medium, tannin, chewy, medium, intensity pronounced, alcohol high, for sure, at least 15, body full, and length is medium plus. I think this could be a crowd-pleasing wine. I think this might please a California Zinfandel drinker, and I think it would please somebody who likes Southern Rhone wine and GSM blends. It's got good balance, good texture. It's got pretty sweet fruit. So this kind of stewed blackberry, blueberry, stewed jammy raspberry, strawberry. It's got that herbal lavender sage thing in the background. It's chewy. It's got a little, just a hint of like fig and maybe even prune. This is big wine with high alcohol. There's no new oak on this wine at all, which I like, so that balance part goes away. What we have is pretty high alcohol, a lot of fruit, and underlying, medium acid and medium tannin. I don't think I'd age this wine for very long, but it is certainly for $9.99 a Monday through Thursday night party wine with a burger or some baby back ribs or anything you can think of to throw on the barbecue. Alcohol is 14.5. I said 15, so it's probably actually 15. Good, and I recommend it. So what do we got here? Good, and good. With reservations, if you like Bordeaux, you'll like this wine. If you're, drinking California red blends, you're probably not going to like this wine that much. If you drink California red blends, you might like this, and this is much more pure. This is a good Vourvray. Recommend it all day long. So that is Trader Joe's French Wines, $9.99 and under. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Remember, check out my website. It's right here, right behind me. I put it on the video. And then check out Neptune School of Wine. If you're in Southern California, we'd love to have you. See you next time.